as you were shot down, as you were parachuting down, that you said out loud to yourself, I'm leaving the world of technology and entering the world of Epictetus. How did a fighter pilot, a test pilot, a master of technology, how did you get to philosophy?
Well, I took it as I was given a book by a professor at Stanford. Have I lost my machine again? I don't know what.
Hold on to it. It'll be
yeah. Okay. I took his philosophy course. I was so sick of my subject that when I really should have gone to postgraduate school was when I was a JG and I could get into aeronautical engineering. But then I got picked up for test pilot school, and Sybil said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm torn, you know." And she said, "Well, just do what you want to do." And I said, "I want to stay here because this is what I would go to school to learn how to do, flight test pilot work." So, but then it was the only course I was eligible for was international relations. Well, I was too old for that. I was, you know, in my late 30s. I'd been systems of government. I'd been beating systems of government for years. What do I want a degree in that for? But anyway, I went through it. And Tony Sokol said, Tony Sokol was an old German, maybe Bill Crowder remembers him. He was a political scientist, I think. And he got a voice, and I said, "Tony, I'm sick of this stuff. This is kid stuff. I don't need this." And I said, "I'd like to go to the philosophy department." He said, "Don't do it." Not out of loyalty to political science, but he said, you don't realize that you'd have to be there for 3 courses before you know the terminology. So, well, I said, "I don't care. I'm going on over there." But I went by, and I was walking down the hall. I noticed they had carpeted floors, and there were a lot of things different about this place. And people had eyes that kind of looked out this way. But I was marching down this hall, and this big voice boomed out, "Can I help you?" And I turned around. I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, what are you?" I already had a little gray hair, and I think he thought it was a problem. And he said, "Well, what do you? What is it you want?" I said, "I've had 6 years of college, and I've never had a course in philosophy. I'd like to take one." And he said, "What is your profession?" I said, "I'm a naval officer over here in grad school." He said, "I was in the Navy in World War II." And he sat me down, and this was a beautiful friendship of a very elegant man, Phil Reitlander. But when we had this last, I had to go over his house for an hour every week. That was golden. I knew graduate students for PhDs that couldn't even get an appointment with their advisor. And we had a lot of good talk. His father had been quite a clergyman. He was a bishop of Pennsylvania, and he had me reading David Hume's Dialogues on Natural Religion. And I remember I'd go in there and I would just work it over and over. Well, he'd forgotten to tell me that natural religion is one which will not permit miracles to enter the theology. And even that kind of attracted my attention. But on the basis of that, he said, "I want to give you a book to remember me by." I was just going back to sea duty. And he gave me this Enchiridion, the Epictetus book. And this was the Stoic belief that, you know, the Stoics do not believe in afterlife. They do not believe that because that introduces an unknown, miracle is an exception to nature. And for the Stoics, nature is God's body. I mean, you know, it's complicated. But anyway, so I got interested enough in this book that I bought the real one, the big book from which it was an excerpt. And for 3 cruises, flying combat, I made myself read that thing on my bedside table. And I was really catching on to this thing when I got shot down, and that's why Epictetus was on my mind.
You talked about Professor Rhinelander's course on the problems of good and evil, and I guess one of the people you read was Solzhenitsyn, and there was a line from Solzhenitsyn that you used often in talking about your POW experience. And you said Solzhenitsyn wrote, "The line separating good and evil passes not between states, nor between classes, nor between political parties, but right through every human heart, through all human hearts. So I guess your reading of philosophy and your reading of literature held you in good stead. As you and I have been talking, trying to get together and get ready for this evening, I realized it would come to an end at some point. And the question I had was, how do you end an evening like this? And I was flipping through your book and came across a speech that you gave in 1994 on Memorial Day on the site of Andersonville, the Civil War prison. And when I read the end of your speech, and you quoted from a poem, and I said, I can't improve on that, so I would like to close this evening reading the poem that you read on that occasion, which you said was found unsigned in a Civil War prison. And this was written well over a century ago, but it could have been written about Vice Admiral Jim Stockdale, or Rear Admiral Shoemaker, or Captain Fellows, or Hoffman, or any of their brother POWs. We asked for strength that we might achieve. God made us weak that we might obey. We asked for health that we might do great things. He gave us infirmity that we might do better things. We asked for riches that we might be happy. We were given poverty that we might be wise. We asked for power that we might have the praise of men. We were given weakness that we might feel the need of God. We asked for all things that we might enjoy life. We were given life that we might enjoy all things. We received nothing that we asked for, but all that we hoped for. And our prayers were answered. We were most blessed. Admiral Stockdale, Admiral Shoemaker, Captain Fellows, and all of your brother POWs, we want to thank you for the example, the inspiration, the grace, the courage, and the simple, decent honor that you showed during your time. We are all now and forever in the debt of all of you. Thank you very much. I want you to come back.
Do I hold this?
Sir, for the last two decades, you dedicated your life to ensuring that military leaders study ethics. And tonight I'm lucky enough to stand up here in front of this crowd and represent over 4,000 midshipmen from your alma mater that are also constantly on a day-to-day basis study ethics. So we felt it only fitting to, in this book here, to take some time to write what ethics and honor mean to us as midshipmen fixing to embark on a career in naval service, and just take some time to write about that in this book. So tonight, on behalf of you spending time with us and the example that you are for all of us, I'd like to present it to you on behalf of the Brigade of Midshipmen, sir. Thank you.
That's wonderful. And Will, we met at dinner, and I know his first name, and I know what's in it, and it is first-person letters from the brigade, and I'll treasure this. Thank you.
Admiral, on behalf of the staff and faculty here at the Naval Academy, we'd like to make a presentation to both you and Sybil. You, in your first book, In Love and War, gave us a wonderful example, one that I hope all the midshipmen here take advantage of and read this book. It tells you that you can be someone who serves your country for nearly 4 decades, and you can still have a beautiful, long, and lasting marriage and a wonderful partnership. In representing that partnership tonight, we have 2 bookends. One for both of you with the beautiful seal of the Naval Academy, and it's inscribed to Vice Admiral Stockdale. Thank you for your lecture tonight. Thank you for all you've done for us. I'll carry this as a steadily for you.
Thank you very much, Admiral. And, I'm so happy to be back here.
Thank you. We'll think about all of you as we use the bookends. I hope you all will have as wonderful a time in the service as we have had. I know that sounds kind of odd, but I really have loved almost every minute of it. Not every single one, but almost. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.